Thank you.
Big build-up, but she has got a story to tell. Now, Klaudia, there are two sides to your story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to talk about the tragic side, which is pretty harrowing, I have to warn you. I was actually told to listen to your story before now, just to kind of prepare me really for what you're about to say, because it is a really, really, really horrendous, tragic background that you have, but that's not the purpose for telling people. The purpose for telling people is how StreetGames has helped you through the other side. So perhaps if you could tell us first of all a bit about your background.
Okay, so at the age of 9, I lost my dad. He committed suicide in front of me, so he shot himself. 3 years down the line, my little brother got diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away 7 months after battling, obviously, with the illness. I was his organ donor, so 2 months before the operation, he unfortunately passed away. So it's been quite tough. And then 2 months after, obviously, his funeral, we moved to England without obviously knowing the English, starting school and just making new friends. You know, language was always the massive issue, still is, even though I'm trying my best.
Oh, hardly, hardly.
But yeah, and just, you know, passing GCSEs without the knowledge of any English, and then just going into A-levels and then college, and then getting involved with StreetGames, and then going to university. It's kind of, you know.
So it's a very, very difficult background that you had, and then you moved to England, having had the tragedy in your life,
yeah.
and then suddenly thrown into a school. You don't speak any English.
No.
You had to learn very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was so hard. Like, obviously people did know a bit of Polish, so as you probably might know what they could know, or the swear words. So the first thing I got told when I walked into my class, first day, they, agreed me with a very horrible word. And I was just standing there like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. So it was just horrible.
What age were you at this point?
I was 11.
That's a difficult age anyway.
Yes,
especially,
absolutely.
dare I say, for girls maybe as well. We talked a little bit about peer groups and what have you, and you didn't have a peer. You didn't have a peer group.
I was on my own.
Yeah, and girls at school in particular maybe. I don't know, I've never been a boy, honest. Or some people write horrible messages and think, I might be a boy, really bad. But it's difficult, so you had to try to find your own way. And this is in the Milton Keynes area, is that right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So at what stage did you get involved with StreetGames, and how did you hear about the project?
StreetGames came along when I went to Milton Keynes College. I got introduced to it by Caroline Moran. She's one here. Where are you? Wave. There you are. Yeah,
she's very proud. She's filming you. That's how
definitely.
Proud she is.
Yeah, she's played a really big part.
Was she filming herself? I don't know which way.
No, she's always played a really big part. Like, always pushed me as well with other people. And then StreetGames was just one of the best things I think I've done in my life, and I'm still a part of. Camp Glasgow, as you saw, best thing. But
how did it work? She came into the school and she said, "This is StreetGames. This is what we do," and you put your hand up. How did it work?
No, well, it started off. We played a game. I was at sixth form. Basically, I did sixth form in college at the same time, so I was kind of doing so much. And then she just introduced me to like, oh yeah, you should come along. And that was, I think, if I can remember, was a Copper Box event 2 years ago. And I think that was the first time I actually took part as a... Copper Box, yeah.
At the Olympic Park?
Yeah. No, that was the year after, 2013. They run it every year, yeah. So I came as a participant, and then it was a residential, and then it was, just loads of other stuff, like just coming up, and then, yeah, everything just came together, and it was so much. I honestly cannot remember on the spot now, but it was just so much.
Which were the sports that you enjoyed the most?
The most? Well, I'm a netball player, I play, so that was probably highlight.
They had 6,000 at the Copper Box recently, didn't they, for Surrey against Hertfordshire, which is amazing, really. So what was it about sport that got you to become the person that you are now? How did sport specifically enable you? Was it through meeting friends? Was it through gaining confidence with a language? What was it about the sport that
I
moved
played
you on?
handball at a really high level back in Poland since I was 5 till about the age of 11. So for 6 years we was getting coach, and handball was so big, like it still is in Poland. And then obviously when I came to England after everything that happened, the only thing that I enjoyed was PE. And they kind of spotted me as well and were like, okay, well, this is something that she enjoys doing and she likes. So they kind of pushed me, and the next thing you know, I was a captain of a netball team back in school, and my team won like over the year, and that was just progress. And then I started playing for Milton Keynes for like Women's League, and then I got scouted for a regional, but I went to university, so I play at uni now.
And what sort of leadership skills did you learn in terms of the captaincy? Were you already a leader? Did you already feel that kind of way, or did being handed the captaincy really make you stronger?
Definitely, like back in school, that was just, you know, your friends, but you kind of had to always have the power to kind of get them together. But yeah, and then going into college, just coaching children, just coaching young people like my age or even older, like in Camp Glasgow, for example, like trying to get to people your age was really hard, but it worked. Everyone listened and everyone was always there for you. And they took part, they loved it, as you saw. So yeah, that was just kind of getting
Camp
used to.
Glasgow looked amazing.
Yes, it was absolutely the best time of my life. If I could do it again, I so would.
What was so great about it?
Just the whole experience, like spending time with people from different areas around the UK. Like we are all from the private areas around, you know, Great Britain, and people, it was just amazing. Like they were, everyone was kind of, everyone had a story behind them. Like I wasn't the only one, and you should never like feel sorry for yourself in such a way. Like I always think like some people have it worse than me. Why would I, you know, kind of dull on it? Just go with the flow.
And what sort of people did you meet there?
Different people, just a lot. Like just foreign people and people from England, and a lot.
And what about the accents? Because you're from Milton Keynes in this country, which is a fairly neutral accent. Did you meet Geordies and, dare I say, Brummies?
Yeah, oh my God.
And were you there going like, I'm not the foreign one anymore? Did you think that one?
Do you know what? I'm going to point one out, Joe Merrin. Where are you? There he is. Yeah, when
Where's
I
he
first Liverpool, remember? Yeah.
Love the Liverpool
Understanding Joe was so hard, and I was always like, I'm sorry, and he was like, oh. But he always repeated himself, so he was fine. But it was just, yeah, like, and there was another people from Newcastle, and it was just getting used to the accent. But once you got that, like, you were fine. So like the first like couple of days, it was like, what are you saying? But then it was just like, perfect, can understand it. And even now when we travel, like, I know kind of, you know, the communication between people.
Mm. So it's helped you in many different ways, and you probably learned that Geordies don't wear coats in winter and that kind of thing. You've learned
sunglasses, as you saw.
Yeah, all sorts of funny people from around the UK. And in terms of volunteering and using the skills that you've learned from being a participant and then becoming a leader yourself, what has that given you, being a leader and teaching other people these skills? Definitely
a confidence boost. That's 100% what it gave me. Language as well. Like it developed my language skills even more. Even though there are still some things that I even sometimes say and I don't even know what they mean, but I know when to use them. I get it all the time, especially at university. You're writing an essay and there is like, oh, biomechanics, no idea what that means, but I know when to use it. Yeah, it's just a lot, just ways as well of making new friends, like adapting to people, especially with different, like difficult behavioural problems. Like that's what kind of I like about people, behaviour. If they've got challenging behaviour, I kind of can put myself in their shoes and kind of help and just, you know, how to make them feel better.
What's the best thing about StreetGames?
The best thing, the opportunities they gave people, they still do. They kind of showed the way that volunteering is about what people want to do, not what they have to do. And they put that difference through so much. And as you can tell, there was so many, like they started off as 5. There is over 600 people now. Just best thing ever. Like if you really want to help someone, just best thing ever. If you're not helping anybody else, you're wasting your time, basically.
If you're not helping anybody else, you're wasting your time. I think that's a great way to finish. Thank you so much. Something to remember.
Thank you.
Klaudia Piwowar.